No break, no jam, no sense. A joro jar, a joro, joro, joro. Attention.
Of Aisha, no Nigerian is more Nigerian than any Nigerian.
Say we don't gas and we don't tire. Every day now one balava into another. No be to answers, now better government, better salary, electricity we want. My people say they talk, say we lazy, talk say we no free work, talk say we no get work. Say they talk say we lazy, we go see the power we get. Our youth no dey sleep oh. Now they killing our people. We go fight for our rights. They go believe our people. Now they killing protesters. We no carry
not give up. God bless you. God bless you.
When my brother die, cause he asked for life. Ayomide Taiwo, never forgotten. Kolade Johnson, never forgotten. Chinedi Menu, never forgotten. Augustina Haribu, never forgotten. Tunde Nephew, never forgotten. Ifeanyi Ozo, never forgotten. Isaac Ngbe, never forgotten. Ifeanyi Abugu, never forgotten. Chibike Anna, never forgotten. Anike Okoji, never forgotten. Tina Ezekwe, never forgotten. Solomon Eze, never forgotten. Tia Mukazim, never forgotten. God's power.
They'll move on. But the families will never move on. And then you're thinking, who is the next victim? Who is it going to affect?
Welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of the Green Passport Podcast. As always, I'm Ohiz. Ifeanyi to my left and Okiki to the bar. Today, I don't even know how to start. Like, today we have a special guest. Today we have Magid Magid in the building.
Thank you. Honestly, it's a real pleasure to be here, and I'm really excited. So when I got the DM, I was like, the only answer was yes, for sure. So
Yo,
really appreciate it, man.
We couldn't be more happy to have you here with us. Honestly, like, this is such an honor. As a politics student as well, like, this is man. But let's even get into it. Like, I can't be kept getting gas. Like, I'm flustered right now. Anyways, but I'd like to start off with everything. Like, how are you?
honestly, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. Like I got a nice 7-hour sleep today.
None of us can relate.
Yeah.
None of us can relate.
7 hours is rare, but it was a nice sleep. But honestly, I'm blessed. I can't complain. I'm healthy. Family's all good. Friends are all good. And yeah, just trying to do the most, trying to do what I can and stuff. And yeah, basically, I've just been in Sheffield for the most part, and I've been back and forth to London and stuff. But I guess everyone's kind of being forced to go online more than ever. Like I'm starting to get like Zoom fatigue, and it's just. But it's honestly, I'm good. Like I've got no real complaints, shall we say?
Yeah, honestly, like
how
it's
you
just
doing?
get your mental up. Yeah, like, well, good as of right now. Obviously, as university students, it's a bit weird now considering everything is online. So it's kind of like diminishes like work ethic in a lot of ways. That took a while for me personally to get used to. Like, it's just a weird time considering the pandemic and everything, and us being Nigerian, everything that's going on back home. Yeah, it's just a matter of just like getting your mental right and just trying to put yourself in a good place.
Do you know what gets me vexed is you basically international students, and you're paying for online courses.
Oh my!
Like,
Oh my
Are
God!
you mad? Like it's
Yeah!
literally.
Oh my goodness!
So you're
me.
like it's a serious problem all across the UK. Like they should make the tuition fees small because it's like you're not getting that interaction. You're not getting to that real teaching. Like you could be wherever, you could be in Lagos right now. And then it's like it's
speaking my language.
Yeah, it's peak. It's
like we're paying like what 5 figures.
Petition to challenge that.
Yeah. People have been pushing. I know that like there's been certain NUS campaigns and stuff, but are saying like it's absolutely ridiculous. But they don't care. Like it's
They
like,
don't.
it's
They
like
don't
think
care.
universities are like enterprise, like businesses.
Yeah.
Like honestly, like it's sad, but it's the value of education is not but it's not at the heart. It's literally saying like we need to make money. We need to make money. We need to make money. So
I was speaking to one of my professors about it because obviously like it was a debate in one of our classes, and then he said, I understand the plight of the students, but at the same time, if it's a thing where they reduce like school fees and whatever the case may be, like a lot of teachers might get laid off. So from a morality aspect, I
do you know
get
that's
why.
BS? Do you tell you what that's BS?
I like your approach.
Oh, this is gonna be a good episode.
He's not pulling punches.
No, do you know the amount of money universities have got? Like endowments it's their reserves. We're talking hundreds and hundreds of millions of pounds. And it's like this is not even like it's not saying it's a permanent thing, right? It's just to like accommodate and everyone's and everyone's struggling. The people are losing their jobs. It's like the universities can't afford to kind of give that relief to still continue paying their lecturers and their staff, while at the same time making sure that students aren't out of pocket and they're not, and because you're not getting what you promised. You know?
100%.
So it's like
It's almost a rip-off,
it's I guess like your lecturer like may have been told that from like the senior management at the university that we've got no money, like it's we have to, like it's BS though, like there is money at university 100%.
See me thinking this was an episode I wasn't gonna swear. Anyways, now let's get into it. Like obviously, like we obviously know our plight, but then why I'm really gassed is like we study you. Like your rise into the political platform in Sheffield has been amazing. Like sometimes you actually sit down and realize and internalize how many records you broke with your. Yeah.
No, do you know what it is? Honestly, like it's not as much as I should in terms of like I guess during lockdown I have reflected a lot more just because I was forced, like many people, to like not to basically everything was put on pause, and whereas everything was just moving so busy and just so fast and stuff like that, and then it was like right, I'm just having to like just sit down and like reflect and plan and stuff. So I guess it kind of like during lockdown I was taking a lot more things in. But you know the reality is it's one thing I learned that is you can't do things by yourself. Like it's as much of a blessing it is. I've got so much things to be thankful for. Like it's had it not been for sacrifices my mother made, friends that grounded me, like people in Sheffield for voting for me, not like to be a councillor, but also my European Parliament. There's so many things, and it's of course hard work is where you need to like put in hard work.
Yeah.
But you know, hard work can only get you so far. Like you need to have opportunities. You need to. There needs to be a bit of luck at times as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, you did say that. Yeah, you did say that.
But
Yeah.
people say, what is luck? If like it's when preparation meets opportunity. Because if you get an opportunity and you're not prepared for it, you're not gonna be able to. You're not gonna be able to kind of make. So it's always like at times just having to be on standby and kind of making sure you've got your ducks in order, and it's when the opportunity comes and you're there. But I like a lot of it as well. It's just basically been. I've always been someone who I guess. I always take myself out of my comfort zone. I'm always wanting to put myself in certain situations, wanting to learn. And the reality of it is as well, I remember at the beginning when I was actually wanting to do something, it was because I actually started off at university. When I was at university, I used to run an MMA club at university. I went to university in Hull. I studied aquatic zoology.
Yeah, I was gonna get into that too. Like, how did you go from marine zoology to the Lord Mayor of the city of Sheffield?
Do you know what it's like? For me, it was I just wanted to go to uni by any means, right? Just because I knew it was just exciting. I just wanted to basically move out of Sheffield. I wanted to meet new people, do different things, go somewhere where nobody knew me, and just like I don't know, like it's and just like fresh page. Like it's very few opportunities in life that you get where you can just go somewhere nobody knows it and you're literally starting fresh. You can that part was exciting. And then so when I was at university, I was really, even before I was really into Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
Whoa.
Don't fuck with this guy.
So I came from a submission grappling, and then went out to university like doing kickboxing, so set MMA club. And then it was through my earliest memory of any campaigning of any sort was trying to get a better sports provision at university. And then that led to getting more involved in the Students' Union, finding out what the Students' Union does. And then through just encouragement of some other friends just saying, stand president, and I did that for a year. But it was only like in 2014 when it was the rise of UKIP and the Nigel Farage political party in the UK, and you've seen so much, I guess, rhetoric of fear, hate, and division. And I was like, with everything that's happening, if I can at least make my small part of the world, my Sheffield, my community that bit better, that's at least me doing something. And like I was like, what can I do? And I was just literally go on YouTube, just learn about local democracy, like how decisions are made locally, read up on things, who makes decisions. And I guess it gets to a point where I was just tired of complaining, and I was tired of asking the wrong people to do the right thing. And I was like, let me at least do something. And then I was just like, honestly, a lot of things was just learning on the job, like it's and like watching daily politics, trying to get my head around that. But it was like, it's just as well. The reality is like when I remember like seeing these councillors, and they were actually just like, oh, terrible. And I thought these people are actual elected councillors. Like it just honestly gave me, but I'm like, I can do a better job than these people. Like literally, and it's like, don't get me wrong, they look the part, they use big words, they talk about, but in the reality, like they're shit representatives.
Facts.
Yeah, literally, absolutely fuck all. So it was like how have they, like, are they privileged to have that role? And it's like, because like we've like chef, wherever we've all been socially conditioned to expect what a politician's meant to look like.
A white button down. Like I read one of your stories about how one of your first days going into the European Parliament, how they sent you up because you had the shirt saying, "He's a waste man."
No, but this is the mad thing, right? So like, in the European Parliament, there was people wearing t-shirts, other parliamentarians wearing t-shirts with other things on it, right? So I had a t-shirt that said "fuck fascism" on it, right? But it was like the fuck was starred in it, right? So I'm just literally, and plus it was my first day. But again, like the European politics, is different, right? So like, how's someone gonna step to me saying, "Are you lost?" Like, it's like, "Bro, can you not see the lanyard that I'm like, I've got?" And I remember, and it's like, but at the beginning, it's same. Even like when I was a councillor at first, people like kept saying, even like, it doesn't even have to be in politics. Like, it's like I would go to like Meadowhall or whatever, like I can see security following me, thinking like I'm gonna like steal something or anything like that, right? But more so in that country, in that environment of like the town hall or the parliament and stuff like that. But put it this way, they very, very quickly got to know who I was. And then after that, it was all calm. And I'll be honest, it's like the matter thing is, it's not even just like white people, it's even black people, because even black people are thinking, what, this guy's surely not like is. So even when, of course, like we've all been like conditioned to think what politicians are. So even, but afterwards, and they knew who I was. And I'll be honest, at the end it was all love. Of course, you're gonna get those people who are spiteful and just hate the fact that you're there. And that's mainly other politicians and parliamentarians, because they think, I have worked so hard, like I'm entitled, I belong here, you don't belong here, like it's you should be like, this is not a space.
Do you think your age played a factor in that?
Yeah, everything. And it's like, for me, like, I've always been unapologetic in myself, and I've just I guess not given two shits what other people, and I guess I am someone, unfortunately, I'm very thick-skinned, and by fire or by force, I'm just gonna just do me, and basically. And the interesting thing is that people will, like, even the people that disagree with me, like, I've had people that come up to me and say, "Do you know, like, I disagree with everything that you stand for, but I respect the fact that you're being you." You're like, it's especially an environment that doesn't allow you to be you, and basically it's like people people just respect it at the end of the day, and but for me, it's all like, for me, it's what you do with it that counts. Well, and I understand that, like, it's a privilege, and I'm not gonna take it for granted, because I don't know how long it will last for or what it is, and it's like so for me, it's always been, I've always like had that belief that, like, listen, right, it's great that you're in this space, but it's what you do with it that counts.
100%. Like, even the way you burst into the scene was like something that this city has never seen before. Because first of all, you burst into seeing the youngest Lord Mayor in the city's history at 28, the first Black Somali, first Muslim, the first one studying marine zoology. So obviously you had, again, records on records, and even your first photo, when you had the suit, squat down, that was iconic. I see that, I'm like, you are the guy in this city, 100%. So then, did you just decide to just take that approach as like, okay, this is me, like, I'm not gonna go with, what the look of a politician is, or was it just a way that you just say, I was like, nah, like, people need to see me, I'm I'm a role model now, so that people need to
Yeah,
understand.
So, so it wasn't. I'm like, right, I'm gonna make some acting. It was more or less basically like, first of all, of course, I knew that now that I'm taking on, so what I do and say and behave there'll be more eyes watching. It'll have more effect, right? But at the same time, I didn't make the active decision to be different. Like, I'm like, it's just, first of all, by virtue of me being who I am and in that environment, my existence is a form of resistance in itself in that environment. So it was
100%.
a case of like, well, I'm just gonna continue being myself. Whereas I guess the easy thing wouldn't. And I was getting pressures for it. Of course, as a human, you doubt yourself. You're like, right, is it like, am I doing it wrong?
How
And
do
you
you feel with that pressure?
do you know, like, it's like at the beginning, of course, there was an imposter syndrome. I was like, listen, any moment someone's gonna catch me out that I'm a fraud, and it's like,
We all go through that.
but then it was just, I guess, just remembering why I am where I am. But also, honestly, I was getting like, especially at the beginning, where I was like, but then seeing the massive support, especially like my inauguration photo, the one that viral, and just seeing the support of not people in Sheffield, like outside all around the world, just seeing that support kind of really instilled more confidence in me to go out, to continue and be myself and keep pushing. And I've not changed. It's always been my environment that's been changing every time. Whether that be and the town hall, whether that be European Parliament, it's like it's the environment that keeps changing.
Absolutely. Like, I wasn't gonna ask this question because I was really debating over it last night, but then just seeing how much energy you're on, I'm just gonna have to ask you, what is it like being a black politician in the United Kingdom?
Do you know, it's I guess it can be like, first of all, it's like we need more black people in politics, period.
100%.
Like, it's nobody's gonna speak for us, and that's the reality of it. It's like, and I would like, it's a lot of times, put it this way, it depends, because I'm a firm believer, like, yes, we need to have more black people in politics, but having more black and brown faces in high places doesn't mean we're gonna, like, people are gonna speak on our rights. You can be a black person and have shit politics.
Yeah,
100%.
Like,
100%.
you can be like,
People always fail to
Muna,
talk
or, like,
about that.
so many other people that literally are like, haven't got the interest of black people, like, just basically just thinking like they put profits over people, they put their own personal invested interest in it, and then like, how's that, and how's that benefiting
Anyone.
like my groups of minorities, black people? It's not benefiting. It's only benefiting themselves. So it's like, I'll be honest with you, I would rather have a white person who understands the plight of black people and supports, and basically not just through words but through their actions. But like, then having a black person who's completely regressive.
Word.
But of course, that means we need more black people, 100%.
Yeah.
But in the UK, being a black person and in politics, I guess it can be difficult, because you're always being judged. You're always being basically targeted. Like, people are always waiting for you to slip up and stuff. And it's just I honestly, it's sad that I sometimes see certain politicians, they could be black, brown, whatever, and they just get lost in the sauce, and then they just completely lost. And it's like they forget where their roots are, they forget where they come from, and then they feel the need to kind of appease other people and kind of like, no, like, listen, like, it's great that you're in this role, but you can't forget where you've come from. Like, you've got responsibility in who you support, and because whether you like it or not, you are a representative by virtue of who you are. So you need to, what you say, like, and what you do also has a impact on the wider community across the UK.
Yeah, absolutely.
Has there ever been a situation where someone says to you that you've accomplished everything you have just because you're a certain color? Because it seems like an argument that's growing more and more these days, especially with how BLM and everything is coming up.
So put it this way, like, nobody told me to run for a councillor. Nobody told me to run for Lord Mayor. Nobody like literally, it was a case of, in terms of like in the politics. Well, I guess it's also worth saying that it's the reason why I joined the Green Party and not your kind of mainstream two political party. First of all, I could never be a conservative member of the Conservative Party by virtue of their values and principles and their track record on so many issues. But it's in terms of like, a lot of my family and friends and people with Labour Party supporters, because in the UK it's like we've got a voting system where it's just first past the post, and it just forces you to choose between two. And at times people are forced to choose between the lesser of two evils, even though they not necessarily want to vote for that party.
For either one,
Yeah, so it's like, so all this talk about democracy, I don't think like the UK is a bastion for democracy in any shape. In fact, they always try to crush it in every sense. But it was the reason I joined the Green Party was, and I guess just because a lot of my values and principles align with the Green Party. I understood it wasn't like they weren't going to be running the government anytime soon. But it was also a case of they were the party at the time that had a red line against austerity. They stood up for free education. Their foreign policies were good. But also it's the fact that it was members driven, and they didn't change their stance. Whereas like, if you look with Labour, it's like depending on who's leader, the party was going to completely change. What they like everything
you
like that.
have a concrete principle.
Yeah, exactly. And for me, I always say is I'm not loyal to any political party. I'm loyal to policies and principles. So the moment the political party, the Green Party, start doing some madness, I'm like, peace out. Like it's like, you like it's
later.
it's like. But also one of the, I guess like it's like, and one of the things with the Green Party that we had no whip. Like with your traditional political parties, with Labour and Conservative Lib Dem, you are bound by the whip. So basically, it's not like an actual physical whip. It's like you have to toe the party line. Otherwise, you'll just get thrown out the party. Yeah. So you always have to do what you are told by the party leader and vote in a certain way and stuff like that. Whereas for me, the Green Party didn't have that system. So I literally was free to do whatever the hell I wanted to do. And I've literally not had any pressure. Of course, they've said, Magid, like, can you tell us when you do this? Or like, I've never been told to vote in a certain way. Of course, it's like we all tend to share the same values and principles as a whole. So it was... sorry, but I completely forgot your question.
So I was saying there are instances where black people achieve certain things. Yeah. And then you'd have what we term haters saying you only did this because you're black, with how the BLM movement is growing now and how everyone wants to be inclusive and they think we're just getting handouts.
Yeah, I get it. It's like, I wish that was the case. I wish people were giving out handouts to black people, but it's not the case. It could be like we are massively underrepresented, not just in politics,
100%.
local, in everything we are like, and even though like not say the amount of contribution that black people put into the and into Britain, like in the arts and culture and everything, in business, everything. So it's 100% that's complete bullshit. The fact that something's handed to us, like nothing was ever handed to me. I had to actually go out my way and take it. 100%. So it's like it's like a lot of times we have to work 5 times as harder to get any in to get same level playing field, because like white privilege is a real thing. Like it's, and also like it's the amazing, of course, like the whole Black Lives Matter thing is has brought race to the forward like of consciousness in people and stuff like that. It's just exposed that massive racial inequality that we have in the UK, but it's been like it's always been there. You know what I'm saying? Like fair enough, like people are recording it more and you'll be able to see it more. But it's always been an issue. And now you'll get like people like these politicians like leader of the Labour Party, like he would like taking a picture of like kneeling down and saying, but it's all performative politics.
Yeah, it's all performance.
It means absolute
Let's
bullshit.
go paint a street black or something.
It's like,
they painted mailboxes black the other day. Bro,
what's that gonna help?
Well, honestly, it absolutely does matter. So like, no, nothing's handed to us whatsoever.
Absolutely nothing.
Go and take it.
Yeah, absolutely not. Speaking about, you said something about how, sometimes like the Green Party would like you to check with them with what you do, wherever it could be. So I have to ask, so what was the process when, you publicly called Donald Trump a waste man and then banned him from the city?
So this is what it was. It's like, in Sheffield,
big us for that, by the
way. We loved you for that.
Yeah, in Sheffield, we've got a very long, rich history in welcoming people from across the world. Like it was the first refugee settlement city in the UK. It's the first city of sanctuary, and we really pride ourselves, like, especially even honestly, like the value that we're very big, like international students play in Sheffield.
True.
So we like it's a very important thing to us. So I guess where where the government, Theresa May at the time, was rolling the red carpet out to someone who is a racist and so many other disgusting things,
It
right?
was so clearly
Yeah,
one.
and you know, it's like then people would argue, oh, but America are our strongest allies, and like, you get it, like, America are our friends, and I get it, and I respect that, right? It's like, but if my friend was an absolute race and absolute shit and said, I want to come to your house, I said, no, you're not coming to my house until you get your shit in order, then I will invite you to my house. It's got nothing to do with the American people or anything like that. But by us, by virtue of rolling the red carpet for him, if anything, we are emboldening his actions. We're emboldening all his beliefs and all these far-right fascists that support him. We're saying it's completely okay. In fact, we reward you for basically having these views. And like, because I guess where before racists were afraid and they never used to say anything. Now they're getting all brave.
They're so
and
bold.
Yeah, and it's like, it's just by normalizing it, and we can't normalize that behavior. And I guess where a lot of other leaders across the UK were remaining quiet, I was like, no, I'm not having that. It's like, he's not welcoming show. And I kind of gave reasons. And just to kind of like, it's in terms of that whole moment of action, it's, so when I was Lord Mayor, there's a lady, it happens to be a lady, her name is, the Lord Mayor's and mace bearer. She's called the mace bearer, and she's got this kind of like massive gold and kind of mace, and it has to be presented at every full council meeting. Otherwise, any of the decisions that are made won't be turned into law, and it won't happen. So, and she walks in front of me wherever I work, and she like, so she shouts, "All upstanding for His right worshipful first citizen, breaker of chains." She says this kind of thing, and then everyone kind of stands up, right? And so basically, I'd kind of like, so I would chair that, like, so basically, so every full council meeting, I would have a different T-shirt with a different political message on there, right? But for me, I guess honestly, it's like I would always try and get a point across, whether that be me writing for like newspapers, whether that be giving interviews, whether that be the actions I do, to even what I wear. For me, in any way that I can communicate something, I would make use of that, right? Yeah. So I would literally and was like in wearing a sombrero and this T-shirt, and she's walking in front of me, and I kind of come in to the council chamber. Everyone basically stood up, and with a T-shirt that says Donald Trump's a waste man. And I basically, and I'm dead serious, and I'm like, please be seated, and we're getting into the formalities, and I'm like chairing it, and it's dead serious. And then I basically would tweet that out, and just as the council meeting was starting, and then I didn't expect for it to cause a massive flurry that it did. I didn't like, and then you've got like the American ambassador on the phone, then you've got so many other kind of madness happening. I wasn't prepared for. I didn't think it would have caused that much of a stir, but it was just important to say, listen, no, this guy, I think that's the most politest thing we can say, is call him a waste man. Right?
Honestly, we could call him a lot more.
So much more worse things.
And he said so much worse things.
Exactly, 100%. So
thank goodness you didn't conform.
Yeah. So it's and then it's like, and then like, then things went a bit chaotic and stuff like that. So it's but yeah, so that was and the story of that basically.
Yeah, man, again, when you see the photo with the, Donald Trump is with the sombrero, I think that was, in line for sure, like unity with the Mexicans over there. Like, I think,
and then it was like,
it
was a case of, we were like, I guess, like, just not to take the business, but to kind of rub it in. It was like, when I put it, I said also, July the 14th, when he was coming, like, and we're gonna have basically Mexico Solidarity Day, just because at that moment in time, he was banging about that and the war, but also like putting like Mexican children in care, all this sort of stuff, right? So we legit, like, across Sheffield, like a lot of the local business and whatnot, like we put those Mexican flags everywhere, and people were putting on deals of Mexican food, and people were coming out, and it was just. But my thing, that all this time, like, I was beefing with the council. Like, it's because a lot of the time they were basically saying, no, you can't do it. It's like they didn't want to stand for anything, and if you're not standing for anything, you'll just fall for everything. And it was like, and it's like they just did, like, it's honestly like a lot. Of course, I was getting a lot of shit and abuse from like online and offline race, but also even within the council themselves, because there was a lot of power struggles that were happening. Because for them, it was like, how can, like, they didn't know how to deal with that, because they think, how can one person have engaged so much more people, get so much more press coverage, more like, and the entire comms, like, and the entire council comms machine and all the other councils, stuff like that. So it was always So every day was a war. I felt anyway.
Yeah.
And on so many different fronts. But I guess just persevering. I guess especially I knew the fact that like I was going to be in this Raw Limited, and I was like, listen, at the end of the day, like we're all gonna die. Nobody's gonna give a shit. I'm just gonna like it's like all this stress and all this. It's like it's not. I'm not gonna be feelings afterwards. So I'm just gonna just like. And plus, just like if I make a mistake, I'll just learn from it. But it's for me, it's always. But I always think it's better to get in trouble for something you did than for something you didn't do. So I'll always rather do something rather than just remain silent.
You wouldn't change anything, no.
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
If you don't mind me asking, how do you deal with the online hate? Because I know it's impossible to please everybody, and people are so vocal these days.
Do you know one thing? Like, it's honestly, I admire the people that put in effort in their hate, right? Because if you're just gonna call me like, oh, you black this, like all this kind of, it's just pointless. But some people go to some creative end where people would create videos or like create certain and it's like and I'm like that's what they get my attention. I'm just like I rate the effort you put into. But one thing, I never engage because as much as at times I want to really retaliate, like at the end of the day, our energy is limited. So I'd always rather focus my energy on the positive things. And I used to keep a hate box, death threats, all this sort of shit. But the love was outweighed it second to none, to be honest. So it's like I would just honestly I would look at some of the hate and I'd find it funny. Like it's some of the ones that point like
I haven't heard that one before.
That's new.
I just keep it moving, to be honest.
Like that's such a good like positive way to look at everything. But then just going a bit into your background, like how did you kind of like find yourself in Sheffield? Because at least from what Wikipedia says, like you kind of grew up back home in Somalia with like in the refugee camps and everything of the sort. Like I didn't really, because there's only so much that they say, but there was like the story, how does he leave the Sheffield, your political aspirations, like it's a lot. Like your story is genuinely inspirational. I met everything in that DM.
Thank you very much, bro. And so we were basically just living in Somalia, and the thing is, it's like, when it I guess kind of comes to refugees, people were having to flee, whether that be persecution, war, whatever it's like. It's nobody chooses to leave their family, their friends, their support network unless they really had no choice, right? And it's like refugees aren't coming to this country to make your lives, the people's lives, difficult. Do you know what I'm saying? And they're definitely, like, even the recent thing, like, people risking their lives, putting their children on boats that they know that could possibly sink. People aren't going for all of this just to claim benefits of £35 a week.
Thank you.
Like
there's like, so much misinformation out there too.
For everything.
It's but it's honestly in the UK there are a lot of people out struggling. There's a lot of white communities, working class people that are struggling. People struggling all over the place, right? But it's easy, and it's such an old school trick where the government says, the reason is because of all these immigrants, while at the same time they're taking everything from them and everything like that. So it's all failed government policy, but it's like it's that divide and conquer bullshit. It's so old, and you see it played out in so many fronts in many countries around the world. And let them squabble amongst each other, say no, it's like while they continue to steal everything from them and whatnot. So it's like it's honestly like heartbreaking, and it's and I guess we could have ended up anywhere, and then we just happened to come to Sheffield because Sheffield was very welcoming place, and I guess I couldn't speak a word of English, and then I couldn't speak a word of English, but it's I guess when you're young you really pick up quite quickly, and then having to translate and interpret for my mother, and then for other people, I guess also taking on extra responsibilities, and I guess from a young age I was taking responsibility other people my age in the UK would not have to deal with kind of thing, because you learn to grow up and a lot quicker and stuff, and then I guess grew up in a Burn Grieve part of Sheffield, which socially deprived community Sheffield, but there's lots of amazing people, lots of amazing things that happen there, to be honest, as well as a lot of difficult things that happen there. But I remember the secondary school I went to was 90% ethnic. So if you were white in my school, you were the minority.
That's new.
Right? So and then I then was I guess, and everybody from my school went to the same sixth form college, and me just being me, I just wanted to go somewhere different, just to experience somewhere different. So I went to South Sheffield, which like was the bougie side of Sheffield, right, which is the complete opposite side, right. And I just remember seeing like this sport where people run around with sticks, lacrosse. And I'm like, what the heck is this? Like, and I just never seen like it was like a complete opposite to where I grew up in the school that I went to and stuff like that. And then I did that for a year, didn't even take my exams. And anything like the complete flop.
Wait. Time out. Wait. Let's just stop at the exam part. Was there a reason why?
I don't know. I was just partying too much. My head's
vibes. You're not vibes, is it? Like
yeah, I just wasn't focused on anything like that. And then I went to Long Park Sixth Form College. Did my A levels, and then I remember I was just like working in a couple of factories in Sheffield and around, just because I just wanted to make some money just to go traveling and stuff, and then saved up some money, did some traveling for a bit, and then went to university. And
Here you are.
That's it. The rest is history.
The rest is history.
Yeah, but it's I guess like growing up, like because like people always ask me who are your role models growing up, but you know it's like I would say like the role models were the people who had the flashy cars that were just flashy. Do you know what I'm saying? Just because that's how we equate success. Because there wasn't any like doctors or any basically people who were doing like in really good professions. So it's like I'm like, yo, this guy's got a brand new Mercedes. It's lucky, and you just want all because that's like that's what success was, and of course you'd aspire and to be that. But then of course I remember the day we got the computer and the internet, right? But that changed everything. It was like literally being able to access so much thing, like see the world, and it was it was amazing. And I remember like it's so in some sense it sounds like I reckon the internet was for me some sort of role model, because I would literally spend so much time and I'd want to like I was always kind of like it'd keep me off the streets like certain times and stuff. But it was I remember I used to like download music, like probably like past your age, but I remember like we used to like use LimeWire, Kazaa, like download music, and I literally just
speaking my language, bro.
And I used to like I remember because at the time there was no Spotify, there was no anything like that, right? So in school I used to like sell Magid master mixes. I used to create my own music compilations, and I used to sell them like £2 a CD, right? And then if you wanted your own kind of like per se music, I'll charge you like 50p more. And it was like I was using it to like buy sweets, just buy nonsense, but it was just a form of income and stuff like that. And it was, but yeah, then of course like things have changed a lot since then and stuff like that. But it was but yeah, it's you kind of like it's you get up to some nonsense at times and you learn through it and you just kind of keep pushing.
Yeah, one thing about you again, once again, like I've never actually really told this story, but 2 years ago actually met you, but then this is something, but where they get to, it's such a weird thing because he came here to visit me over the summer, and he was just in the town center and I was home. So he comes back home and I was like, yo, he's like, I saw this one guy, like he was bald, had a beard, and he had these massive chains around him. He just came out of the town center. I had no idea who he was. He looked like he was in a costume or something. And I was like, yo, you just met the Lord Mayor of the city. But then I was like, nah, it can't be. And then I realized it's like in the UK, because he's like straight from Nigeria, like he hasn't really had the chance to go to school over here. In his head, it's like the British politician is a white man with the suit, or whatever the case may be. So then all that, it's a lot of stuff that even I myself had to unlearn, because there's that picture in your head like, oh, this is what a British politician looks like. So the way I'm telling you, it's like you met the Lord Mayor by accident and you didn't even realize. And it's like, nah, it can't be, man. I had to Google everything. I was like, bro, is that who you saw? I was like, yeah. Like, yes, you met the Lord Mayor, but you didn't know because it's so grilled into you the fact that a British politician is old, white man, suit, tailored, blah, blah, blah. So your appointment was really special to us all as a city and just as black people in general, because it's like you changed the perspective of what a politician over here is.
Yeah, and I guess like it's really like at times you have to see it to be it. You have to see people in certain roles to kind of break those glass ceilings and barriers and be like normalize that. And I guess by virtue of that, hopefully then inspire other people. And I've always said like I never went into politics or anything I do with the intention of trying to change the world or anything like that. If I can inspire or put a food of thought in somebody else, hopefully many of those people will then go on and to change the world in whatever field, whether that be politics or not, or non-politics related. And of course, we would like. It's important to see good people in politics, black people in politics. But also, I want to see black people succeed in every field, and as well. So
Okay, let's step away from politics. Like, I want to go into this music thing. Like, so what type of music are you into? Like, what were you mixing? Like, are you a grime head?
Do you know? Okay, do you know? Like, I'm just gonna be honest with you. So, do you know? Like, it's growing up. Like, it's if you like, it sounds so stupid. Like, if you didn't listen to hip hop, you were gay. Like it's like honestly, like it's like this is like honestly like you could not like the street code, the school code of like if you can't be caught slacking or listening to anything else, and it's like people like so like it's like I just basically like I had two sisters that influenced me in music. Like so one of my sisters was like really into R&B, like R&B hip hop. So like I remember the days of MTV Bass. I remember music videos were like a real like you'd actually had to watch it on TV, like watch. Like not you should like, and it was an event like, and music videos were amazing. But so basically, like mainly just hip hop. Like it's just rap and hip hop was the only thing I like was listening to kind of. And of course, as I've got older, like my music tastes like I've varied into different things, whether that be like neo soul or just different things basically. And now it's a lot more accepting to have other. But I guess when you're young, it's like it's just like it's just but yeah, so it's basically just like it's at a time whether that be like a lot of I was influenced a lot by American music, American hip hop like was massive, like whether that be Nas.
Nasty Nas.
Whether that be like Busta Rhymes or just like that kind of era of music and stuff. But then of course like kind of it like in the UK like it wasn't even called grime then, but like it's growing up with listening to like Dizzy
It's called
Rascal
house and all that, like with
thing,
Dizzy and them
and bashment music was good. And a lot of it at the time like was influenced by like African music, but it wasn't kind of called like there was no relation to African music into like Afrobeats wasn't a thing or like anything. But you can tell the sounds like of course there was an influence from the Caribbean, but also you could tell that African music was kind of like a thing. But you know the matter thing is like I'm honest, like growing up like being African like it wasn't seen as a cool thing.
We spoke about this in another episode. Like, because
how was it for you being?
It's like it just wasn't. Now it's like. Everyone wants to like learn like with that. It's the power of culture. Like whether that be like people want to learn the dance music, like food, like African food is like so popular. Everything and that. But right now it's like, bro, African like you got like the images that they had were like donate £3, you got fries. And it's like they didn't even know the reality of how prosperous Africa really was. And it's like now I guess through music, culture, arts, it's completely like changed.
Black Panther is cool to be. That's where it kind of became like cool to be African. You know.
Yeah, it's like, of course like it's like Africans were always proud to be African, but it was like
100.
people would use it as an insult. African as a and it's because it's African. But now it's like and it's amazing to see that change for sure.
100%. Like because all of us now, like again, we all grew up back home in Nigeria. So for the most part, all we ever saw was black. All we literally needed to do was be ourselves for the most part, and not really stray too much. But when you come into the societies and you hear, like, even one of my like he used to tell me stories about how they used to make fun of him because. So sorry. Like he told me that one time was supposed to go on a school trip or whatever, but at the time he hadn't gotten his British passport. So as everyone's going through the airport, they stopped him because like he needed a visa and everything, and he just simply forgot. So then everyone's making fun of him. It was like, oh, look at this African, he can't travel, probably blah blah. Like like what the situation is. But then now because of the music, the dressing, again, Black Panther. Ignore that. Black Panther, Wakanda and all that. R.I.P. Chadwick Boseman. It's just a thing where it's like, it's like, oh, I want to be African now. Like, I want to get into the culture. Teach us the language, the food. Can I get some fufu? Like, all the other generic
the
stuff.
Dance.
Yeah.
It's like, it's where it is. It's like, well, African itself is not monolithic. It's just not one. Like it's like
it's so
even within
diverse.
Nigeria,
Yeah.
there's so many different cultures.
200 to be
Do
exact.
you know there's different dances,
54
different food.
different
There's
countries.
different, exactly. So I think it's now that people are tapping into and just seeing and everything. And as well, do you know, like the African diaspora in the UK, a lot of people
Yeah.
going back to Africa and wanting to kind of like, would that be to reinvest or to
Yeah.
basically just, I don't know.
Amazing
like
to
it's-
see.
Also, even like even Black Americans are be in a massive kind of move. A lot of people wanting to kind of, even though I guess for them it's really hard to trace their heritage, their roots and stuff like that. But they like they want that from another to kind of try and trace that back. A lot of people have been going to like moving to places like Ghana and West Africa and trying to really and
See where they're from.
Yeah.
Big up to you, man.
So, have you been aware of everything that's actually going on in Nigeria at the moment?
Yeah, like the whole SARS situation. I know they changed the name, didn't they? SARS.
Yeah,
SWAT.
SWAT.
And change the name, still the same shit.
Like,
Yeah, at the end of the day. So it's honestly, it's been heartbreaking to see, to be honest. And it's like what's been amazing to see like how many people are empowered, like in Nigeria, really coming out and saying,
Yeah.
Yeah,
we're
enough
we're
is
not
enough.
accepting this.
It's enough.
This big before where everyone's come together in such unity. Babalawo and Christian. It's wonderful to see because the youth are really stepping up.
Yeah.
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 The
I don't
lazy
think
youth.
it's ever been
The
done
lazy
before.
you that were branded as, you know.
The lazy
Yeah.
youth.
And hopefully, like, and as well, like, I hope that is a fuel and a to not only just one day
Yeah.
to resolve this, but into policy, changing the whole country. Because, like, whether that be corruption, whatever it is, it's like hopefully that energy really steps up and it kind of benefits people all across Nigeria.
Hopefully this is the start of something.
Yeah, because like I said, it's like, okay, cool, we attack SARS and SWAT or whatever they call themselves, and then once we get that done, politicians were on your
Yeah, we're
ass, like
coming
you're
for you,
next,
we're coming.
like
What's the
we're
They know.
next.
Yeah.
I'm sure they know.
I
Like,
mean,
it's
Nigerian
just
lawmakers
beautiful
are the
thing.
most paid in Nigeria in the entire world. Yet the minimum wage in Nigeria is what? 30 quid?
Yeah,
60 quid? It's
Something
crazy.
crazy.
I saw something like the United States president, the salary you get is $450,000 per year, but yet the average Nigerian senator was on $99,000 per month.
Madness.
So
Do
crazy
you
it is,
know
man.
how insane that is?
Crazy it is.
Pocketing it. It's like it's.
And when you see the breakdown, you just what is hardship allowance?
Yeah,
They pay
you
them
have
millions. for
Hardship
newspaper
allowance, furniture allowance, newspaper allowance.
allowance.
I was like,
Millions.
what
BS. It's
is
just a way
this?
to, like,
And on top of that, we have animals swallowing money because
Oh,
they think we're not smart
oh
enough to
my
know that
God.
they're embezzling all of it.
You know, they put up headlines like
Snake swallows
Yeah.
millions of dollars. I was like, interesting. It's like,
well,
can you
no,
at
they
least?
say that the animals.
That's what they say.
Yeah,
They
I mean,
say-
you
they
studied
take the
marine
money and
zoology.
then
You
just-
tell us, you can tell us
They
whether
say-
it's actually
Swallow
possible
millions.
for that to
so
happen.
they say, I'm trying to understand. They say that, oh yeah, I don't have much money because the snakes ate my
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically
Or
the-
you'd
the
have
money that's
like
meant for the people,
public funds.
But what do you
Yeah.
mean? But how's the snake like?
swallow-
Is it metaphorically?
That's
Are
what-
they- like,
That's how crazy it is, bro. That's how,
but are they saying like what? Is this like? Is there just millions of cash in their houses?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Some of them have
so you'd have
cash
like
in soakaways.
And they,
Bro, they
nah,
build
show
houses.
us evidence.
Th-
Show
their
us the proof of
videos.
the not
Bro.
the snake eating it. Like, and do people like? You know,
was so-
it's the audacity.
It's the audacity.
Yo, it's the lack of respect
so
for
insulting.
Nigerians. It's like, y'all
So
don't respect us
insulting.
enough to give us
And
a
2
decent
weeks
enough
later, they told
life.
us the monkey ate all of the one, bro.
No, the maddest thing is like, they didn't even say the monkey ate it. They said he ran away with it. So it's like,
Wow. The monkey out there living his life. Like,
and he just said like, just take this money.
With our tax money.
wow.
It's like, you can't even respect us enough to, you know, hit us with a
Shit is
decent life.
frustrating, bro.
Like, it's
So
mad.
hopefully this is the end of all that. You know.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
I pray for
Hopefully,
beginning
bro,
of the end.
we're fighting. It's like, it's beautiful to see people in London fighting, New York, Houston.
You can only push people
Yeah.
so far, and that's something they forgot to realize.
Yeah.
But honestly, let's be honest. Like Britain and this Europe and this has been massively exploiting Africa for years. Like,
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's like
Yes, man.
it's like that's why a lot of people talk about reparations. Not even just like reparations, but also in terms of like culture. Like the whole, for example, the Kingdom of Benin, which is modern day
Yeah.
Nigeria at the moment. Like,
That's where I'm from, yeah. Shout out to dude.
yeah. Do you know the amount of artifacts and everything?
Yes,
that
they
has
sh-
been- do
that
you
are
know-
still in the
Bro,
British
Bro,
Museum.
Still
literally,
here.
do you know in museums are just a live crime scene. It's an active crime scene.
When you actually think
That's
about
exactly-
it.
Because what is it, right? They're basically saying, like, which is proven, like, it's not even like they stole it. People have written books about them people stealing it, right? Right. So not only have they stolen it, it's like, we've stolen it from you.
well
But do
documented.
you know what, like, and you said, and they said, can we have it back? I said, no, we're looking after you because we're not finished looking at it yet.
Yeah.
I don't, because me, I haven't finished looking at it. Give us our stuff back.
I think the latest
no,
one was.
we're still looking at it. But, like, it's not even like, and they put, it's honestly, it's
Again,
It's like-
audacity.
I
That's
think
what
the,
it is.
the latest one they said was they'd borrow it to us. So you steal something from someone and then you want
We'll
to
lease it
borrow
out to you. You
back
can
from
have it for the summer. It was just a summer period, and then you have to ship it
I
back.
think Nigeria's at the moment, like next year opening, it's like massive kind of like museum.
Yeah.
and stuff like, and they're saying especially because in the region, but it was one of the most, probably the most affluent part of the world at that in that era, and they basically there was so much treasures, and they're saying there's specific kind of plates that they like, kind of golden plates that they wanted in the museum in Nigeria, and they said, we're not going to give it, but we'll loan it to you. I'm like,
No,
and it's just like it's.
Oh shit.
like all stuff like
like that, does that just get you vexed?
Like
I'm
even
just
in the
like-
start of the movie Black Panther, I see the Queen. It's like the Queen face mask. That is like the #1 most recognizable like artifact in the Kingdom of Benin in it though. Like so, I see it in the movie, and I'm just like, I know exactly what this is. One is
I'm gonna take this off you. It's mine.
yeah, it's mine. Low key. The fact that the white lady even mispronounced Edo, that just even pissed me off even more. Like that was what did it for me. I was like, you know what? Like, but that's reality. You walk into museums, like I've never really seen it that way, but it's actually a crime scene.
Yeah. This worries. But do you know what? Like, let's be honest. Like, let's keep it frank. Like, Britain is built on the backs of colonies of all the people. If
America
literally,
too.
if Britain was to give back everything in the British
They'd
Museum,
have
fuck all.
nothing.
They
have
have
nothing.
nothing.
And they know this.
Yeah.
That's why they protect it with all their
Nothing.
mind.
Well, even like, what is the actual national dish of Britain?
Yo, we got. You know, it's funny, yeah, because
Because I
I
think
thought it was fish and chips,
It's
but
not.
then you actually find out like fish and chips is actually not local to here. I think it's like immigrants as well. I forget the country,
The official national dish is chicken tikka masala.
and that's
Which
even
is
has
Indian.
Indian
It's
heritage.
Indians. Like it's literally like everything. Like it's like there's like please tell me anywhere in the world where someone goes, do you know what? Let's go for a British meal. No, you don't hear that. Nobody ever says let's go for like a British. It doesn't exist. It
doesn't
like-
exist.
The culture is stealing from other people. I know it's harsh because it's like a lot of it is on the back of other basically countries and other people, and it's
And instead of acknowledging those countries, they treat those countries
like shit.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We'll steal, we'll rob, we'll pillage, we'll kill, whatever like that, and we're not even going to give you anything back.
Like it's so crazy because, for example, like again, we're
And at
all
a time when
yeah.
those people, even modern day thing where Britain, America have basically been involved in conflicts like Libya or the Middle East, and when those people are forced to flee and saying, do you know what, we're like, we're not gonna,
fucking
you know, you
hell,
can't come here.
So frustrating.
Even though you came to our country
and fucked it
and
up.
did this and
fucked
that,
it
and you
up.
took everything from us, and
it's like, for example, like us Commonwealth countries.
It's just it's not even acknowledging it, right? It's like it's the fact that they're not even willing to.
They won't. They
acknowledge it.
will never acknowledge it. Like us Commonwealth countries, like obviously we speak English because we were colonized by them. And for example, we had to do GCSEs as well. Me, for example, I got an A star in English and literature, and I still have to take English tests to come here.
Man.
It's like I know for a fact that I have better
Bro,
grammar
I
than
tell you
most of
right
the
now,
people there already.
You speak better English than a lot of English people.
100%.
Facts.
Facts.
You know this whole like to get a British passport, they make you do some dumb tests.
Oh
So
no.
citizenship test, right? Like, because you know it's like what was the king's? This I'm like, why is this even relevant, important, right?
Yeah.
And the average British person would fail at these.
Yes.
Would fail. But it's just
It's just more barriers to entry. They know exactly what they're doing.
Trying to make it really hard for us. And I just hate the fact that it's this thing. That's why I really hope Nigeria can fix up. Because I don't want it to be a thing that I also have to send my kids here for the best chance of education. Because once upon a time, this university in Nigeria called Unilag, once upon a time was the top 5 uni in the world. That's when my dad went. So now it's a situation where corruption and everything has pretty much messed up the country. Your parents, but how rich or poor, for the most part, they're going to look to countries like England or America. So it's like, how can my kid get the best education possible? And it's expensive.
As fuck.
Yeah, and you know it's like it's honestly that's why because I reckon Britain is changing, and there is this bit of a culture when they're trying to really get to grips with it, and that's why even the Conservative government always they attack culture first, arts and culture.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, it's like artists and art in itself, it really engenders empathy. And I always think then if you're filled with empathy, it's really hard to vote Conservative if you're an empathetic person. Yeah. So it's like it's a bit of a massive struggle, and God knows what the country would be like, where we'll be like in 30, 40, 50 years. Kind of thing. But it is changing, and people don't know how to
you think it's gonna
react to that change. I hope so.
With Boris at the helm.
But it's like that's why there's kind of been reintroduction of like nationalism and patriotism. It's like because they feel the need to hold on to whatever culture that they like. So speaking of passports, right? They had this big thing about we've reclaimed our sovereignty. We've got our blue passports back. You could have had a blue passport whenever you wanted, right? But the mad thing as well is like, we're leaving these Europeans. Yet the people who actually contracted to make the blue passports are French. Ooh. So it's like,
my God!
It's just ridiculous.
What is British culture? When you actually think about it, what is actually British culture? Going around shirtless, protesting and defending statues of Winston Churchill. Like, what is British culture?
Bro, honestly, whoever you speak to will kind of give you different answers. But of course, there is this kind of I'm going to put it this way. It's like, I don't even feel, it's like now the British, I can't help but feel the British flag has been hijacked by far-right nationals. Because if you look at like on their Twitter profiles, when you see British flags, it's basically far-right racists who are always kind of like having this kind of flag. Yeah. Even as well as like the St. George's cross, like the English cross, right? So like if I'm walking around house different areas and I see like an England flag, whatever, I'm thinking, this person might be like, and I just don't kind of feel comfortable, and then they kind of pride themselves. But if you think of it like this, Saints and St. George was a Turkish bloke. Like if you look into history of like where St. George come from, it was an actual Turkish bloke that they pride themselves. Like again, people don't care about learning the history of what this is.
They don't care, bro. Like, because it goes against your agenda. So why would you learn it? Like
and it's like, and of course, like education's been a big thing. It's like if like the amount of history that is omitted from the education system in the UK, that it's not beneficial. It's not. Of course, they will not teach colonialism and imperialism.
Absolutely
what the British, because
not.
if people knew the truth of what happened, and it's not in the it just changed. And so they say, there was Christopher Columbus.
Was taught to us as a hero, by the way.
And he was a hero. All this, it's like it's they don't really want to talk about the systemic racism, and it's all this. It's not in their interest, and like it's now as well. They're literally being tougher recently. They're saying that if you talk about any of this, it's illegal. Even to like they're trying to pass laws to say you can't like, which also then infringes on free speech, which they so love that they say free speech. But when you talk about other ideas and stuff, it's an attack on ideas because they're scared. Literally, like they're at a pivotal moment where they feel like everything that they protect and stuff like that is at danger of people realizing the truth, and things are going to change, and they're really trying to hold on to it.
Moving forward, do you think the UK should adopt embracing cultures?
Bro, do you know, first of all, do you know what as well? Like, it's a lot of, I reckon this whole Commonwealth, I don't know if Nigeria is still in the Commonwealth.
We still are, unfortunately.
Need to leave. I'll be honest with you, right? It's like, for example, like Trinidad and Tobago's left, a couple of other islands have left. There's another African country that left. So listen, we are no longer going to accept some queen as our head of state. We're going to have our own head of state. Especially like Commonwealth is linked to colonialism. That's literally what it is there. So a lot of countries need to break away from the Commonwealth and literally like create their own head of state and like be their own captains of their own kind of ship. So it's like, in terms of like, I reckon as much as like certain people want to push back, and like at the moment there is a bit of a divide in the UK, it's happening, and I don't think they can stop it, to be honest. As much as they can try to put policies in place, try and like make the Britain an island, it's not like it's going to float away and they're going to put barriers around it. It's already here.
Yeah, we love it. So now that obviously the EU has been disbanded as of January 31st, and you are obviously a member of the European Parliament, so like, what's the plan? Like, what's up with Magid? Like, what's the plan? Like, what's the move? Anything you're working on?
Yeah, great. So, so there's two things I'm doing at the moment, as well as many different. So the main thing I'm doing, and I've set up a pan-European organisation looking at race and climate, and especially the intersection between race and climate. Because we look at the climate crisis, even though it was created by the privileged few, it is affecting black and brown people the most all across Europe. So basically, I've been doing a lot of work, and I would like, at the moment, because there's not much traveling, so I'm basically just in the UK at the moment. So it's we've been working a lot with European organisations on that. Another thing as well is I'm running a program at a university in Amsterdam, and for 6 months called New Politics and Afrofuturism, and then so there's but then as well as that, basically just been doing a lot of book tour related stuff, and like many people, I've always got lots of different hustles as well. So just keeping it moving, bro, and just trying to do it. No, honestly, guys, the pleasure is all mine. It's a real honor for sure.
Thank you so much for having us. As always, Spotify, Anchor, Apple Podcast, hi YouTube.
All the good stuff.
All the good stuff, man.
And please subscribe now, please.
Honestly, like 93% of viewers don't subscribe. Like, can you guys behave, please? Can you guys behave, please?
For sure.
But thank you to the boys as always. Thank you. Can't believe I'm saying this. Magid.
No.
Bruno behind the camera. Thank you for having us. And as always, Green Passport and Green Party for day. Thank you so much. And we out. See you guys.